Hello and welcome to another video. Today I am playing on Arena with my friend Morty. I am in the purple, playing as the Goths on Arena. Morty is in red, playing as the Franks. We are up against the all-new Kia Cilantro. In blue, he is the Ethiopians. And in green we have Squaw B, and he is playing as the Huns. So, I wanted to show this game because it's kind of interesting. I actually had a problem with my internet here at the start. So every now and then, when my internet starts to go out, what happens is some of the things that are using internet will stop working, but others will continue to work. So I noticed that my Discord disappeared. So I was like, oh crap, I think my internet's going out. So um, I tried to, I did pause it for a little bit, but then eventually I said, screw Discord, I'm just going to focus on the game, and we started playing. I figured I'm not going to get my internet back unless I restart my router, but if I do that, I'm going to lose the game, so I didn't want to do that. I figured I'll just chat with Morty in game. The benefit is you guys will see all of our communications because we are communicating in the game. Not the best warlords today. Both of them were a couple of tiles away from the TC. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. We will see what's going to happen here. I am doing my fast castle with Goths, which, by the way, if you want to know how I do it, it's 24 pop Dark Age uptime, and then getting to 14 minutes for a castle time. If you want to see how I do that, I do have a video on YouTube. Headed up to feudal now, and we'll see what's happening here. Notice that green is going on to stone. Meanwhile, Morty's scout is on auto scout, and guess what happens here? Green scout leaves, and the auto scout decides to walk in. And I happen to notice that, and I signal it to him, and I say, just be annoying, because he's most likely doesn't have loom on his villagers, which is true. He doesn't have loom on these villagers. 25 HP. The scout can kill a villager one-on-one. So if he's able to get a one-on-one fight with a villager, he can win it. But unfortunately, blue is paying attention and is able to turn around and fight the scout when he needs to. I stopped paying attention because I'm building my buildings, and then Morty actually just runs into the TC and dies. So unfortunately, he doesn't get any Vil kills out of that, but it was at least briefly annoying. Blue did a good job defending it. Like I mentioned earlier, green is on stone. We don't see that yet. In fact, we only see that blue is on this side and green is on this side. But that's the fact he's on stone is a sign that he's planning a castle drop. Meanwhile, blue is actually already making archery ranges and a blacksmith, and he has not clicked up. I asked Morty here, did you get any, asking about the vills, and he said no. Morty is making his buildings, about to click up. I am on my way up. Green is probably going to click up after this villager. Okay, he's got these buildings going up. And yeah, so this is odd for blue to be making archery ranges so early. So that means he's not going to be booming. In fact, he hasn't even clicked to go to Castle Age. So he's going to just be bringing Feudal Age archers and starting a fight with that. You don't see that very often because Feudal Age units die to most Castle Age units. So if he just has Feudal Age archers, you can take on 3 or 4 archers with just one knight. So he's got to just bring those archers in combination with what green's going to be doing. Meanwhile, we are just sort of peacefully starting our builds here. I've got a monastery, going to go for some relics. Building a second town center here. Morty's about to hit Castle Age. Green is on his way, but guess what? We have some green villagers walking across the map with some blue archers. In fact, these are unloomed villagers, so it's kind of significant that a wolf attacked him, but he noticed. One-on-one with a wolf, the wolf wins if you don't have loom. But he noticed and attacked with all the villagers. And there are the blue archers back here to also protect against that. So here's the castle drop. Going on to Morty right now. We don't see it yet because it's just outside the range of the gate. Morty is actually building his third TC, as am I, peacefully unaware that he's got a castle drop incoming with feudal age archers on it. Now he sees it. In fact, he signals it right away. So good job noticing right away and then letting me know. I say and I say he's got archers, but I think knights will clear that. And but then I think Morty also saw that it's two. It's green and blue. Green is making Tarkins, and blue has archers, and he's like, no thanks. He's actually going to evacuate nearly all of his villagers. And he says, in fact, he says, hard pass. So he's going to send most of these villagers out and then get over into my base where it's safer. There actually is plenty of space over here for him to build town centers and get some good eco going again. He'll just lose access to his gold. Blue and green do come over here and notice that there were a few villagers leaving. I don't think they realized just how many. In fact, we can see what they see. They see the two town centers so far. They don't see the third one. And they definitely don't see that Morty has 33 villagers that he has saved. Meanwhile, since I saw Morty just leave with nearly all of his economy, I stopped making the pikes. I was going to make pikes to kill the Tarkins and then rely on Morty to have knights for the archers. Because this is still feudal. In fact, I mention it. Blue is feudal. That's crazy. It's 21 and a half minutes and he's still in feudal. So, anyways, I say, okay, they're going to spend time killing off Morty's already abandoned eco. So I'm just going to keep booming for a little bit and prep my defenses. I am on stone to make my own castle in defense and to make huskarls, which I will need against archers. Blue found the town center from Morty here. He could actually ungarrison these villagers and keep some of them working. But I think his whole entire focus is on where am I going to put the new villagers. Get that economy back up in a new safe location. He's already written off his base. Alright, so I figure castle here would be good. Not only is it next to a gold, this is also most likely going to be the route that they eventually attack me on once they're done with Morty. Morty's asking for wood, and I was able to send him 300 to try to get him going back on the reboom. Anyways, the Tarkin are actually really good against buildings. Even though they're fighting directly under the town center here, they're taking barely any damage, and they're killing the town center real fast. They're not going to lose a single unit underneath here. Morty's going to lose that town center pretty quick. Meanwhile, this castle is going to go up. There's nothing really threatening it. Blue's got a mangonel and some crossbows. He's still on... No, he's got a second town center. Green has only got one town center, so this is an all-in from green and almost all-in from blue. Noting that he just now got to Castle Age and just built that second town center. So, blue found this TC, lost a couple more units. Green is going to take out this one, and now I think they are planning what to do after they finish this. Morty has built a second town center, and notice at this point, Morty has 41 villagers. That's almost as much as blue, and it's definitely more than green. So even though they have thoroughly wrecked his starting base, taken it over, because Morty left with so many villagers, he was able to get that economy started quickly over here in a safer location. Now they're going to try to break this gate and head that way. They're already sending villagers this way to sort of recolonize Morty's base, knowing that there's golds in here, and actually some free farms if they want to take them. In fact, it probably would have been better if Morty had just deleted these farms, because someone's going to build a TC right there and take them. But that's just one of those things you don't really think about. Meanwhile, I'm building some more barracks, getting anarchy. Anarchy allows me to make Huskarls out of the barracks, which means I can mass them a lot faster. Huskarls have really strong pierce armor, so they're good against the archers or town centers or castles. And then it's the pikes that will be good against the Tarkins. So I am prepping some of that. But I'm also thinking, I said I'm going to petard someone. So I figure they've got so much invested forward right now. In fact, what do I see here? Do we see that castle? We don't see that castle, but I do assume they've got villagers coming in this way. So I figure they don't have much at home. In fact, Blue has a little bit. He's got, and that's why I'm scouting here to see what they've got. Actually see that they've got this, the archers out on the front there, so I figure that might not be the best place to attack. But I'll attack on the side here. Green is actually completely open. It's once I were to click it. Open it. Meanwhile, Green runs straight into my castle and my pikes. So they find out that I'm actually prepared for whatever they bring my way. Got 2 free kills on the Tarkins. And meanwhile, I am going to be massing units on the outside of Blue's base, prepping for a counterattack. Not sure what Morty's worrying about, probably just the lack of space. So what happens when we sort of share a base like this. But it is what it is. Looks like they're going to send their army here, going to go around the castle and try to come in this way. But I'm not sure they realize it, but we actually have, not only do we have stone walls, we have a house wall, and then another house wall. So it's going to be hard to break through there. It's going to take forever. In the meantime, here come the petards in on Blue. And I'm not sure he saw that right away. In fact, I don't think he did. Now I think he did. He's sending the archers back. But I went with Huskarls because I figured that the Huskarls are going to be great against archers. That's the only defense that Blue's going to have is the archers. Archers in town centers, so I'm just going to go for eco damage here. The Tarkin are actually going to go all the way back. So because they were so far, they were literally on the other corner of the map. So that means they are as far as possible away from where I've made that new fight. So that is that's good for me because I can get great damage in on units that I am good against. The Tarkin will do pretty well against my Huskarls. Meanwhile, I'm actually taking a fight in on this as well, going for the mango first, then clearing up the archers. There's enough Huskarls in here that it's going to take care of that. Meanwhile, still got units over here. Just kind of got units all over. There's a few over here on these farms, some under the town center. There's some over here that he managed to kill. A couple more at the gate entrance. And now I'm sending more that way. Now I'm also sending these in this way. I don't realize there's a castle here, so I'll find that out shortly. Meanwhile, the Tarkin are coming in to clear out the Huskarls. I figure there's eco in here. I figure they probably sent villagers and making some eco. I did notice, or did run across the castle, but I went straight for the gold because I figured he's probably going to try to take that gold. Sure enough, there were some villagers there, so I took care of that. Now I'm sending the new stream of units out this way, just right towards the hole I made in his base. I'm actually having difficulty because I'm housed, so this villager's trying to make some houses, let me make some more units. But I send this stream this way so that the hole stays open, and that I can make sure that all the new units I send this way will be able to get in and get the damage I want. Um, Green's running away. He doesn't want to fight the pikes. Gonna run to the castle, which lets me continue to mass out here. I do move the units over here, thinking, okay, maybe there's some eco over here, but there's not. There is a town center in the middle. Like I said, Green built this town center here and immediately took over those farms. So, good play on his part. But now I think Blue is reeling pretty good. It's down to 36 villagers. Look at Morty at 66. So he's about double the villagers that Blue has, and is already starting to make stables. So he's thinking about what units he's going to be able to contribute to this fight here. Alright, so Blue's sending villagers to make a TC here. I think that he sent those before he realized I had some units in here. But I did actually spot those, and I'm trying to send these units over here to kill off those vills before they get that TC up. Not going to happen, but it was a decent idea. He's actually going to garrison in Green's town center. That's actually a pretty good amount of units. They should be able to take out town centers. In fact, there's not any villagers to garrison this town center, so they're going to take it out for free. Meanwhile, I just got to Imperial Age. Blue and Green are both already in Imperial Age, and Blue is already making trebuchets. I am starting to make some trebuchets as well. So my thought is I'll clear out these castles. They're both making, well, actually, Green is making Tarkin. So, and there's eco over here. So if I put an attack here, I'll sort of clear up this colony they've made in Morty's base. And then Morty's actually deleting all his walls there, just to make sure that I have a nice clean route of attack on them. If I had to go through the gate, it could be a funnel point, which could be a problem. But actually finishing off Blue's eco over here, he's not even, okay, now he's garrisoning the TC. There are some show tells that he made out of this castle. He's not sure what he's planning to do with those. He might just be putting them somewhere safe or out of the way. But I decided to start a fight over here. I actually figured I'd send these Huskarls into the eco. I didn't realize the Tarkin were here. Oops. But now Green is actually going to fight my trebuchet with his trebuchets. So trebuchets only have 15% accuracy. So you would think that, you know, it would take a while for this trebuchet on trebuchet fight to go badly for me. But you see that? He's already hit 2 shots. And now here comes the third. 3 shots. 3 straight shots. They went straight for the trebuchet and got it without missing. That's incredible. So, bad luck on my part, but I figure I got enough units over here that I can actually fight under this castle. Although I did not see the Shotel Warriors. Shotel Warriors are going to do pretty good against my infantry. But I'm not going to put as much into the trebuchets anymore. This is that trebuchet I queued up from earlier. Green's actually running me around the castle so that I absorb the arrow fire. But now I'm just like, screw this. I'm going to take your castle out with the infantry. So, not going to use the trebs for that anymore. Just going to take it out with my infantry here. The Shotels are going to get some free kills, but I figure I want to get that castle done. I think I've got enough units here to take this fight against the Shotels. Shotels have strong attack, but they're pretty weak, low on HP. So I do end up taking that. I thought about continuing the push in here, but I figure I can just make that push with the infantry because there's no more units that are being no more military units over here that I have to fight against. So now I'm actually sending this trebuchet and the next one out to the front of Green's base to start an attack on him there. Meanwhile, I'm going to take out this TC with infantry and then go for the blue eco over here as well. This group of infantry, which is about 40 units, I'm actually not going for this castle. I'm actually going for this castle. When I saw those Showtail warriors, I thought, Showtails? I really don't want to see Showtails. And that's when I told Morty, hey, can you make some knights? And he's got some knights over here. That's knights and skirms. Um, so I said, where are those coming from? This is the only blue castle on the map. Let me go take that out. So I'm actually going to go take that out with just my infantry. Still got some infantry in Blue's base just to make sure he doesn't come back there. Got infantry in over on Blue's colony here. And now I got trebuchets attacking Green's gate. Going to take the fight to Green's home base. There were a few Showtails that popped out, but we went right back to fighting the castle. Gonna try to get this gate down. It's gonna take a minute because trebuchets, see, there's a miss. Trebuchets don't always hit. They got some pretty poor accuracy. See, there's another miss. My trebuchets miss. Apparently, Green's are pretty accurate. But now I'm telling Morty, let's go in. Signaled it, told him in. So we're gonna send our units straight into the heart of Green's eco and see what we find. Meanwhile, I've still got infantry over here harassing what's left of Blue's eco. Blue only has 6 villagers at this point. 6 villagers. Morty's got 82. Even Green's only got 67. So Morty's taking the fight with the Cavalier on the Hussars here. And I think we're not really paying that much attention to our units, just sort of letting them do their thing. As long as we send them in here, I think the game is ours. Taking out this town center with those infantry. Actually coming in here to take out this castle. And I've switched to halberdiers, so that will be really great against the stable units that Green is making. He is rushing up a castle over here in the back of his base, but I mean that's pretty far back. He's just protecting this little bit of eco that he's got left. But he will be able to get that up, I believe. Yeah, he got that castle up, but we're still killing all his villagers. So at this point, the game is near the end. In fact, he calls the GG. But there's an attack here, an attack here. There's units over here. There's units attacking here, and the main attack at the front of Green's base. There's just kind of a swarm here. Even had a few units to protect this gold in case he decided to come out to use it. So I think Morty probably could have fought that initial attack if he tried. He'll probably argue with me on that. But I think we probably could have taken that. But the fact that he decided to leave and leave with so many villagers was key to him being able to reboom and get back in the game. Even taking part in this final fight here. And once he did make that decision, me not investing in early army allowed me to invest more in my eco so that I could make a stronger later army to take them both on while Morty reboomed. Well, let's take a look at the stats. Overall, you can see that they got a bump here as they were taking that attack in on Morty, and Morty had to leave, but eventually started pushing back and then thoroughly pushed Blue out of the game, and then eventually Green. Actually, if we look at the military, we'll see actually he had a almost even KD, which is unusual for Goths. 114 army. So that's kind of key. There's army everywhere, and they just couldn't deal with how much of it that we had. Even Morty had 52 by the end there. They only peaked out at 22 each. So their army was pretty small and never really got to a point of massing to a critical point that would take us out. Eco, not surprising, I had the most eco. Also had all 5 relics. But Morty actually had better eco in the end than either Green or Blue. And you can see here on the timeline of the eco that Morty in red Was behind the other two for a little bit, but then once the other two started taking some hits, and Morty had the reboom going on in my base, he actually started taking an eco lead over both of them. There's the 14-minute castle time. Not my best. If you watch that video, it's more like 14:05 usually if I do it perfectly. Um, Green got to imp just a little bit before me, but not so much before me that he was able to start an attack that would be detrimental. Um, so that was good that we got to imp around the same time there. Started making the trebs. Villager high 96 for me, so not my strongest boom ever, but I was starting to make armies, so it was less about the villagers at that point. But green and blue, they peaked out at 65, 67, and never recovered. So I think that's part of the key there. Morty saving those 33 villagers and rebooming allowed that game to continue.